Hello, thank you for having me.
Hello, Ben.
This is magical. Look at this.
Welcome to Belgium.
Welcome to Narnia.
Yes. Is it your first time in Belgium?
No, it's not my first time in Belgium. I was actually here about a month ago doing a music show.
So, anything that struck you as being typical or particular about Belgians?
I'll tell you the thing about Belgium. I remember so vividly the first music tour that I did in Belgium. It was by far the loudest room I've ever been in my life. It felt, I was actually talking to a friend about it, about all the concerts that I've done, and about how the Belgian concerts are the loudest. I don't know what it is when you guys go watch music. For some reason, the volume just goes up, and it makes me feel amazing. So that's honestly my very personal, experience of Belgium and Belgian people.
You should experience some Belgian beers and stuff as well.
Oh, I've experienced the beers and the chocolate, obviously, but that everyone does that. This is my special association with Belgium.
In the UK, there's a famous drinking game, which is name 3 famous Belgians. Can you name 3 famous Belgians?
Have you got the drink that I need to drink? No, I definitely can't.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Audrey Hepburn. She's Belgian. She was born in Brussels. Magritte, if you're a fan of paintings.
Yes.
I'll ask the same question tomorrow, but I'm going to ask you for 5 famous Belgians, so you can do some more work tonight.
Okay. That sounds good.
Now, obviously, you're an actor. What would be for you the perk of being an actor? The one thing you're like, wow.
Oh. I mean, I think actors talk about their capacity to kind of hide when they play characters, and I think they always give that answer, but what I think people don't talk a lot about is the fun side of it as well. I think there's an element of wanting to explore human emotions and wanting to pass on important stories. That's the noble side of it, but it's originally called play acting. You know what I mean? When you go and see a show, it's called a play, and it's playing, it's pretending to be other people for a living, and there's such an element of that sort of childlike play to it, imagining what it would be like. Look at these kinds of sets and the costume. That's what we all do when we're kids. We dress up as knights and superheroes and chefs and pilots, and this kind of convention is such a beautiful example of people dressing up as their favorite things and the things that they connect with, and I think that we get to do it as actors on such an extraordinary scale, and maybe there's a little more pressure on it, but apart from that, it's so much of it is playing, and I love that aspect of it.
Talking about playing, which do you find the most difficult emotion to convey? Crying, laughing, or something else?
I used to watch a lot of actors and wonder how they sort of did. I think we all have things that come naturally, and I think certainly as a younger man, I had a sort of natural honesty to me as a person. I think to my friends and the people that know me, but I struggle to find a natural way to do rage, anger, because when I get angry, I tend to go shut down and go quiet, and maybe that's scarier in some ways, but I needed to find, it took me a long time, probably all the way through to the Punisher series, before I was oh, this is what's being asked of me now, so I need to find my version of this. And I think it was about stop pretending to try and feel it or portray it like other actors would, and find what my version of that was.
All right. You've been an actor for how many years now, roughly?
Two.
Okay. Oh, so you started when you were 5.
20, professionally, 23 years.
What's the one thing that's changed most in those 22 years as an actor?
For me?
For me. And the acting business, you go like...
Oh, what's changed in
Yes.
the business? That's a good question. I mean, it's hard for me to know what the difference is between how the business has changed and how like just my life has changed. To separate those is very difficult. It's interesting because when I started when I was 20, it felt like impossible. Like I didn't think I would ever be in a film. I thought I would be in, musicals in London and maybe that's it. And then to actually, so it felt impossible. And then about 5 years later, I'd done some films and everything felt like a Hollywood dream. It felt like, I'm gonna be Brad Pitt, I'm gonna be in all the movies. And then you realize that it's not quite so simple. And every career has twists and turns, whether it's acting, music, or whether you're an accountant. Everything is up and down. And right now it feels, particularly for a lot of my friends who are actors, it feels very hard to get jobs. Just the diversifying of all the different shows and all the different networks and all the different, but I think as everyone gets older, everything feels sort of more varied and complicated. But I still love it just as much as I did then. I still get so excited when I get a script to read in my email. If I drive onto one of the lots, one of the sort of filming stage lots in Los Angeles, I still get this like shiver of excitement that it's still like such a magical thing to get to do for a living for me. And I think that's why I'm always kind of, every job I do, I'm trying to spread the message of really enjoying how precious it is to get those kind of jobs, because it's such a privilege. And it's not really how good you are as an actor, I don't think, and it's not really necessarily even what the studio or the Hollywood system thinks of you. It's the people who will turn up and see you in things and turn up to these conventions and show you that they care by following you on social media or whatever. However, it's the support of people who love films and love TV, continuing to like watch things that you're in, that gives you a career, and I'm just very, very aware of that.
If you hadn't
Very
been an
grateful.
actor, if you hadn't been an actor, what would you have liked to become?
A rock star.
You are.
I thought the only other job that I thought maybe would be something that's interesting to me is following in my mum's footsteps. My mum is a relationship she's a therapist. So tell me about your childhood.
Well, I dreamt of being a convention organizer, and I made it.
Congratulations.
So that'll be $150, I guess.
Is this your dream job?
It's not my job, it's just a hobby actually. I'm a lawyer, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so sorry. This is just a hobby which got out of hand.
That's even more beautiful that you're here because you love it.
Yeah. So, talking about fame, you're obviously very famous. Just between the two of us, nobody is listening. Have you ever used your fame, to get a table at a fully booked restaurant, or to say to a girl, "Hi, do you know who I am? I'm Ben Barnes."
Listen. Very early yesterday morning, I turned up at the airport in Los Angeles, presented my ticket and said, "I'm going to Belgium," and they said, "I'm sorry, we've oversold this flight, you can't get on the plane." So that's how famous I am.
Okay, fair enough answer. Talking about fame, imagine you can organize your dream dinner.
With a dream?
Dinner. Dream dinner with 3 guests. A live
Audrey
event.
Hepburn, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Magritte. Good night.
Well done. If you could swap for 1 week your life with that of another celebrity, who would you choose? Just for your information, James McAvoy, who sat in the same chair,
Chose me.
had different taste and chose Taylor Swift.
Ooh. I feel like that would be a wild week, though. It might be too much.
Yes. But who would you choose?
Who would I choose? Can I have 40 minutes to think about it?
I'll ask you tomorrow again.
Okay, who would I choose? Somebody, yes, probably somebody. Does they have to be alive?
No.
I think it would have been I would have gone to that Wembley show and been Freddie Mercury. I think that would have been
1986.
Yeah, 86.
1986. That's amazing.
I like that, just the power of being on the stage and being like,
Oh, oh. Let's try that again. Oh.
yeah.
And the good thing is, when you look at that, nobody in the crowd is on a phone. You know, they're just enjoying the moment.
I know, I love
That's
this.
amazing.
Sorry, my chair's facing this way and there's some people over here. How are we over here?
Imagine. It is not true because I've seen it and I love
This
it.
is a very comfy chair, by the way.
Yeah, don't fall asleep.
This is the most comfortable convention chair I've ever sat. Sorry.
Imagine if I hadn't seen Westworld, which I haven't, I love. Sell it to me. Why should I watch Westworld?
Well, if there was a theme park where you could go and experience life with robot cowboys, would you go to that?
Obviously.
Then you should watch Westworld.
True. Now, before we start...
I'll tell you something about Westworld, if you're interested in it, it was a very, very unusual situation because I was cast very late. So late, in fact, that they'd already filmed the first episode months and months before and edited it. So when I got the job, they took me into a room and showed me the first episode before I filmed anything.
Wow.
Which is like almost unheard of as an experience. And so I was sitting in this room just like watching this TV with this show, and I was like, I'm gonna be in this show.
That's amazing.
It was an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful to the creators, Jonah and Lisa Nolan, Lisa Joy and Jonah Nolan, who created such an intricate and beautiful thing, and gave me such a naughty character, and I loved it.
Season 1 was amazing. Season 2, whatever. Before we start taking questions from the audience, so if people want to start queuing up, I have one final question from me. Well, actually from me, because my girlfriend's daughter is in the audience. She's 15, and she's very shy, so she's probably gonna kill me if I would now ask her to ask a question. So, I won't. But the question I had for you is...
What's her name?
She will kill me, I won't.
You can tell me her name.
Jade.
Hi, Jade.
If you would be talking to your 15-year-old self, what would you tell him?
If I was talking to my 15-year-old self, I would say, when you're older, remember to be as kind to yourself as you would be to your 15-year-old self.
Kindness always wins.
I listened to this. I listened to something. I was reading this thing a few years ago, and I think we all have those voices in our heads sometimes that, like, where we talk to ourselves a little bit meaner than we mean to. I certainly have a problem with that, and this thing was saying, talk to yourself as if you were talking to your own teenage daughter. But also I think it applies talking to yourself as a kid, you know, whatever. But I think trying to remember to talk to yourself with the kindness that with which you would treat other people. Sometimes we don't remember to do that, and I certainly don't. So I would remind him that that's what we're going to do.
Don't be too harsh on yourself, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your time to shine. There's a few ground rules. One question per person, and don't try to outsmart the system like I got one question with 3 sub-questions, one question. English only, articulate and speak in the microphone. Don't ask for free kisses, free hugs, free autographs, for Ben's hotel room number. I get that, you can bribe me. Take it away.
That's a lot of rules.
Hi. So I was wondering, if you could steal anything in the world without any consequences, what would you steal and why?
Can you tell me what you would steal while I think about this? What would I steal? Time? Oh, that's a good answer. I mean, that is the only thing we really have of any value, but what would I steal? Taylor Swift? Can I steal Taylor Swift? No, I don't know. I have no idea. A Magritte. Joke only works once.
There's a movie about stealing a Magritte.
Oh, yeah, yes. There you go. I mean, I secretly, I think, love all those like Thomas Crown Affair, like that kind of story as well. Just to be like an art thief, just to do some heists. But honestly, I don't even really want to do that. I just want to be in like a heist movie. I don't really want to actually steal anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi Ben.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm Emeline, and I've already seen your work since Chris Caspian and Narnia. So that's, I think, 20 years ago. And now I also saw you again in Shadow and Bone, and I was wondering, do you rather like to play the good guy or the bad guy?
I feel like I had a really good run of playing bad guys. I feel like I had a good like 5-6 years in there, and I definitely like got to the end of Shadow and Bone, and I thought, okay, now I need to be the guy that you're rooting for. So yeah, luckily the last thing I've just finished filming was I'm a guy with a good moral compass for once. So yeah, I mean, you never know. It is fun. You certainly have a lot of fun being the bad guy. I would tell you that much.
Thank you.
By the way, that Taylor Swift joke was just a joke about what he said earlier. I don't actually want to steal from
It's
anyone.
on social media already, so...
I know, but I just want to make that very clear. It was just a joke about what you said before. But it's a James McAvoy joke.
When I was 12 years old and I first read The Picture of Dorian Gray, you were exactly what I depicted Dorian Gray to be as. So now, 10 years later, I'm writing my thesis on the movie that you starred in as Dorian Gray. So I wanted to ask if you would be given this opportunity today, what would you do differently?
Oof, that's a very good question, because it is definitely the one film that if I could have another go, I think with just the experience and the confidence that I have now, because I think you're writing your thesis on it, so you know more than me, but I think just as a book, as a character, it's sort of a flawed character to try and play, because it's such a descent into sort of moral depravity, and there's no real hope. There's nothing to drive towards, and I didn't really fully understand that then, I don't think. I think I would have tried to sort of manufacture a few more dynamics in the character, just to make him a bit wilder from the get-go in how he behaves. I think I was trying so hard to make it believable and be honest about the journey, but it's not a real person. So yeah, I don't know specifically, but you've definitely cottoned on to the one thing that I would love to have a do-over on, for sure, because I think it deserves it.
Thank you.
Hi Ben.
Hello. I like your t-shirt.
Thank you. It's from a great artist. Yeah.
Sweetie.
I was wondering, in Narnia, the second movie, at the end, Susan leaves and never comes back. What do you feel about that ending? Because I don't like it.
Because you're romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I always felt torn about them sort of like manufacturing this sort of romantic connection between them that wasn't really fleshed out in the books. But I think because the characters were a little more grown up, it sort of definitely had that kind of frisson to the thing. Honestly, I haven't really thought about the ending of it because at the time I hadn't really done like a big thing movie before. I was just sort of doing what I was told, you know, and doing what was sort of expected of me. And I think, you know, I'm much more likely to sort of put my own stamp on things and break the rules now. But honestly, the best thing that I took from those movies, apart from the amazing experience of like being in something that was such a like monumental thing, is that Anna Popplewell, who plays Susan, is been my best friend ever since. So you know, I think, yeah, time and people are the most precious things we can take. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Hi. So between the second Narnia and the third Narnia movie, they switched from Disney to Fox, and I was wondering if you could feel on the third movie that you were working with a different production company.
I thought you were going to ask why do I change from doing a Spanish accent to a British accent.
No, I heard the DVD commentary.
You heard that on the commentary? Could I feel the difference? I mean, I was always a very big fan of The Voyage of the Dawn Treader as a book. So honestly, even when I got the Prince Caspian role, that was the story that I was excited about. I remembered the sort of the different sort of tasks within the adventures that was burned into my mind from being 8 years old. So that was what I was excited about. I mean, certainly there was, you know, some different people on sets, but honestly, they really tried very hard to keep the atmosphere on set the same. You know, the kids' families were still very much, you know, on the sets, and you know, it still felt like a sort of mega budget, beautiful experience to me. So I wouldn't say that it felt particularly different in terms of what they were trying to achieve, and you know, Andrew Adamson and Michael Apted are both sort of very like, you know, men of integrity. So I felt like we were still being really looked after in terms of how the films were being directed. So honestly, the answer to the question is like, no, I didn't really feel much of a difference. Did you?
No. Well, I think it was only different because you were at sea the whole time.
Right, yes,
but
that's true.
I think that's the only thing that has really changed. Oh, and maybe because we have Peter and Susan missing for most of the
Of course,
story.
yeah, they were such a big part of it, yeah.
But other than
Well, that was definitely different as an experience for me. I didn't have my best friend there, but...
Yeah. So, otherwise than that, it's still a good movie, so I'm not complaining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
Can you sing a part of your song Far Too Soon, please?
I did a whole Freddie Mercury
Another
sing
part?
bit. No, I'm not going to do any singing today, but maybe next time. Maybe next time we can have a piano and I'll do a whole thing.
Tomorrow?
What?
Tomorrow? I can bring a keyboard.
I bet you could. I bet you could.
Who wants me to bring a
No,
keyboard tomorrow?
we're not bringing a keyboard. This is not a concert, this is a convention.
Yes.
There are rules.
I make the rules. Tomorrow there's a keyboard. Tomorrow there's
We'll see, we'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi Ben.
Hello.
So I really loved your concert, first of all, in
Thank you
Antwerp.
so much.
And also I really loved the album, Where the Light Gets In. So I'm curious, what's your personal favorite song of the album and why?
Oh, that's a very good question. It's changed a lot, you know, my favorite, because obviously, like, going to all the different cities and playing them in front of different people. I think every night before the show we actually sung the song Where the Light Gets In, which I didn't even think of as being a single before the record was released. But it started to make me really happy, and we started to have the crowd kind of sing along at the end. So that was really fun. But I've been working on some different versions of a couple of the songs for like a deluxe version, yeah, I've been working on 3 of the songs, and so currently I've got a lot of those in my head. I'm very proud of the song of 3 New Hearts. I really love that as a song. I really loved singing it, so at the moment probably that one.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got 5 minutes left, so you have to switch to yes, no, maybe answers. If you don't mind, go ahead.
Yes. Look at that griffin! Dumbledore!
Harry Potter, Harry Potter.
I'm not that old.
Ron Weasley.
I have a question on behalf of a friend. And
Of course it is.
I figured there was a story behind it. So during Prince Caspian, who do you think would win between you with a sword or Shane with a water bottle?
Or Shane with a
Water bottle.
water bottle?
Yeah.
Shane with a water
You
bottle.
don't remember.
Well, Shane's stunt department, Shane.
Yeah.
He would win with a feather. I mean, he like, it doesn't matter. He's the toughest, sweetest man on the planet. But I don't remember anything about a water bottle. Did he throw a water bottle on me?
He said you asked everyone.
Sorry?
He said you asked everyone that question. And everyone answered the same thing.
I have no memory of this. I have no memory of this at all. But I love that man, and he would win under every single circumstance that we could conjure up together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi. Which character do you prefer to play? Prince Caspian, the Shadowing, or the Darkling, or a few nuances as Sirius Black?
Ooh. Well, I would always pick a character that I've never played before, because, you know, you can't ever go back. So I would pick a new one. But yeah, the 2 that you mentioned are such like totem pole characters in my career, like 15 years apart or whatever, and so you know, I can't choose favourites between them, but the answer to your question is I would always pick a character that I haven't played before. So there you go. Do with that what you will.
Hi, I want to ask you about your musical career. I went to see you in Antwerp as well. And one of my favorite songs is the Pirate song, because it really reminds me of running around my living room as a child screaming Bangarang.
Screaming Bangarang?
Bangarang.
Oh, from her.
Yeah.
Bangarang!
Yeah. But for you, what was your inspiration behind a song like that? I really want to know.
Honestly, I'd written a different song, which was just kind of a sort of like song about feeling like somebody is kind of like always passing you by, and I just found the song really boring. And then I was reading a real story about this female pirate called Back from the Dead Red, who would fake her own death in order to like pull off these different heists. And I was just imagining that this woman must have like guys in every port that she's like manipulating. You know, I just conjured up a story about this real life pirate, and she just sounded so cool. So I wrote a song about this you know, pirate from the 1800s because she sounded cool.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Aline. My friend's over there, and I also went to your concert. It was awesome. And I had a question also about the pirate song. There's a lot of Peter Pan references, and I was wondering if you could, besides Prince Caspian, be any Disney character, because they're doing a lot of live actions.
Oh yeah.
Who would you want to take a swing at?
Oh, that's a really, really good answer. A really, really good question. That's a good answer, Ben. Disney. Sorry? Flynn Rider. Oh, you're dressed as Rapunzel. Yes, I've seen all the Flynn Rider ones on the internet. I did actually have a meeting at Disney, and they told me I was too old So there's the end of that one. But I can still do the... Maybe now they'll age it up. I mean, that would have been a good one. Anyone with singing in it. You know, when I was a kid, it was like Aladdin, or you know, anything with any Disney with singing is like a cool one for me.
Awesome, thank you.
Very final questions. So,
all right,
take it away.
Hi.
Last one. Yes, the lady with the horns.
Yes, exactly. My name is.
I don't get to say that very often, do you?
My name is Amber. I've
Amber.
loved you since Narnia and as a Darkling, but see you traveling around as an actor and also as a musician. Do you ever taste like the delicacies of certain countries, and have you any favorites that's like typical Belgian food? Or booze?
Well, we already talked. I mean, we already talked about the beer. We already talked about the chocolates. So, I mean.
I would also recommend, they're like this little, no, I don't, you can buy them, but there's like Napoleons. If you're from Belgium, you know that. There's little candy, there's like hard candy, but there's sour powder inside. So it's like a taste, if you bite into them, be prepared to,
It's
exactly.
sour?
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
Oh no, it's so tasty.
I'm just kidding.
It's amazing.
You try some beer tonight and some waffles.
Yeah,
Belgian waffles.
I have there's a Belgian white beer, which is literally my favorite beer on the planet. So
we're gonna have 2 final questions. So, last but one question. Take it away.
Hi Ben.
Hello.
Being British and living in America, what do you miss most about the UK?
What do I miss most about the UK? I think the honest answer to that is walking and like I know this is it seems like an answer that you wouldn't notice, but it's been 10 years since I was permanently living in the UK, and it's like the buildings, the old buildings. Just like walking around London, you feel the history, the bridges and the libraries and the Houses of Parliament and the architecture. And I'm not like a big architecture person, but just there's something about walking around a city with history that makes you feel part of the human race. And there's something about living in the States where every, you know, the sort of roads are manufactured before the buildings rather than the other way around. And I just miss feeling that feeling of feeling part of something with your feet on the ground, walking around, looking up, you know, feeling in that. I think that's the honest answer about it. And the chocolate, because American chocolate is foul.
Wait till you taste the Belgian chocolate.
So that's also true, but while we're on chocolate, you know, I'd still rather have a dairy milk than a Hershey's.
Very final question, take it away.
Hi, Ben.
Make it a good one. Hello.
First of all, thank you for coming here in Belgium.
Thank you for having me.
And
sorry I'm late.
My question is like, if you could swap characters with any characters, of Narnia or Shadow and Bone, who would you like to play?
Ooh. Who would I like to play? I was thinking about this because they're doing the Narnia movies again, and I was like, well, who can I? Maybe I could make a petition to be something, but I couldn't really think beyond Reaper Cheek the mouse. I think I could do a good Reaper Cheek, but I couldn't really think what else there would have been for me in that. Maybe one of the beavers. I don't know, but it would have been. I think the mouse would have been a fun one. And Shadow and Bone, I like the character that I got.
I like it too. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for.
Thank you so much.
Give it up for Ben!
Thank you so much.